Now, boxing has always been a skill-based sport, so much more than just about the power, but more about the skill when you're delivering the punch, more about the skill, the position, the angles used whilst you're defending the punches, more so than your reaction time to be able to dodge it. It's always based on the skill. But the question is, are boxing coaches today losing touch of the art? Now, I've seen it firsthand. Your fitness, your power, your endurance is very important if you want to have success in boxing, but it's not the most important thing. Your skill is. Boxing is a skill-based sport, so you need to have ring IQ. You need to know what to do and when to do it. You need to know how to execute movements and defensive moves, offensive moves correctly. Much more than you do need to be fit and strong, and that's just the way it is. That's why sometimes you get a guy who's out of shape and he can get into the ring and he can still spar boxers who are currently training because he has much superior ring IQ to them. He knows when to hold, when to punch, when to step, when to breathe deep, and the opponents that he's sparring, they don't know. Even though they could be super fit, they could be doing 5-minute miles, but it won't make a difference because boxing is a skill-based sport, and I'm going to say that many times in this video. Boxing is a skill-based sport. Now, in my opinion, what I've seen is many coaches become coaches. They start coaching boxers, but they have very minimal boxing experience, so they're microwavable coaches. These are guys that don't really know the fundamentals of boxing, but now they're trying to teach boxing, and what they can teach is how to throw a jab. They can teach you very basic movements, but if anything goes wrong, they don't know the technique in enough depth to be able to correct it. They don't know how your stance should actually be, how your weight distribution should be. Should you sit in your stance? Should you stand in your stance? Why should you sit in your stance? Why should you not stand? These are more intricate details that they haven't spent enough time around boxing to have learnt. Now, I've been around a few different coaches, amateur and pro, and some of the coaches I'm going to mention now just stand out to me. Ben Doughty, Tony Hudson and Barry Smith. Now, whilst Barry Smith didn't actually, unless he really liked you, he wouldn't sit down with you and talk to you about boxing skills. But one day when I was meant to fight Florian Marku, but I had a jaw injury and I wasn't able to contend. Now, Barry Smith sat me down and he started breaking down to me footwork, how to skip, how to shuffle, and I was shocked. I was like, whoa, I've never really sat down and really spoken to a coach about that type of detail in your skill. And that's because he's a true coach. He understands boxing on a level that's far, it's not superficial, it's deep. Ben Doughty. Now, training with Ben Doughty was 99% technical. It wasn't about getting me in good shape, getting me fit. It was about us practicing techniques, executing them perfectly, knowing how to box, knowing when to do so-and-so, knowing when not to do so-and-so. Everything was about our boxing IQ, our conversations we was having around boxing were helping my mind grow and develop as a boxer. It was all about skill. Now, Tony Hudson. So I trained with Tony Hudson for a shorter period of time, but now he rubbed off me a lot, and there's so much, even when I take classes that I teach, that Tony Hudson actually taught me. One thing I'm going to say, okay, this is just something very small. Sitting into your stance. Now, why do you have to sit into your stance? Boxing coaches that don't really know much about boxing, they're the microwavable ones, they won't even tell a boxer to sit into a stance. Now, some coaches that have a little bit more experience, they'll tell you why you should sit into your stance. A boxing coach like Tony Hudson, they will tell you even deeper. They'll tell you, make you understand the reason why you can't turn on your punches, the reason why you're leaning when you punch, the reason why you're off balance, the reason why you can't distribute your weight is because you're not bending your knees, you're not sitting in your stance, and sitting in your stance inhibits all those things I just mentioned. So they're going to have a lot deeper they're going to have a lot more depth in their thinking with boxing because they really truly understand the sport. Now, Tony Hudson, someone that was boxing before I was even born. Ben Doughty was boxing before, I'm not sure, possibly Ben and Barry Smith were boxing before I was born. Actually, no, I'm pretty, no, how silly is that? 100% they was boxing before I was born. So now they're coaches, they have huge banks of knowledge. You're not getting it. They have huge banks of knowledge. They forgotten more about boxing than some modern day coaches even know. That's just the truth. Now, as boxing as a sport is developing, we're realizing through sports science you need to be fit, you need to go to bed at the right time, you need to eat the right type of food, you need to train in such ways to get the best out of your performance. Now, what happens is a lot of modern day coaches, they have gone to these different schools and they become educated in all these different training methods to make you fitter, and they've kind of put it into a boxing context, and they're doing great at that. It's true, they're doing really great, because these coaches are only able to train fighters that can already box. Now, if you can already box, you're not standing in your stance, you're not crossing your legs, you're not making silly mistakes, then yeah, of course these coaches are going to be great for you, because they can help you take you to the next level, because they're going to help you get the training side of your boxing on point. They're going to get the game plan on points. Why do you think 9 out of 10 boxers today have the exact same style? Which boxers have different styles? You got Ben Whittaker, the only boxer right now from UK that I can think of that even has a different style. You're either going to be a come forward fighter, so you're going to have the exact same style, but you're going to choose to be an aggressor or be non-aggressive. That's literally it. No one's got different styles, because the coaches can't teach them different styles, because the coaches usually don't know different styles. Because it's funny when you think about it, but that's the truth. If you went into most gyms and you had a cross guard, which was a bit wrong, the coach couldn't teach you how to correct it. They'll say to you, scrap it, because they don't know how to correct it. The issue is that modern day coaches are skipping and scrapping the fundamentals and going with just what's simpler for them. Because what's simpler for them is if you have your hands up, you know the basics, just stick to the basics. Don't change anything, just be exactly where you are, and now we'll get you fit. We'll get you fit, we'll hit some pads. Yeah, that's the game plan. The game plan is when he comes close, throw a jab. When he backed up, throw a right hand. When he steps to the left, so throw a left hook. And that's very, very simplistic. It's not able, when you're put into certain situations, if you haven't had a big boxing career in the amateurs and a big boxing career in the gym, pro, like sparring, fighting pro, you're going to become unstuck very, very quickly, because you don't actually know what you should do, when you should do it, how to do things differently if they're not working. You only know one way and you just get fit. It's all about becoming a fitter boxer, but not a better boxer. Now, let's talk about Anthony Joshua. Now, despite all the criticizing people are doing of Anthony Joshua, they don't even realize how good this boxer really is. This Anthony Joshua, he's been boxing since 2008. How many years is that? He's been pro for he is still actually a novice. In terms of time boxing, Anthony Joshua is still a novice. But he is very physical, and he has been gifted, and he's very courageous. And with this courage and small limited time he's had to learn skills, he's managed to become an Olympic gold medalist and a former 2-time world champion. So when you look at it and you just think to yourself, okay, Olympic gold, 2-time world champion, he can box. And these coaches now this is just speculation on my side, but his coaches now, they're saying, okay, then you can box. Let's just think about the game plan. Think about this, think about that. Not think about, let's teach you the fundamentals. Not teach. Let's secure. Let's make them second nature. Let's make it second nature that when you get rocked, you have a tight guard. You don't start scrapping and doing all this type of nonsense. Let's make it second nature your chin's tucked in. Let's make it second nature you don't lean back. Because these are mistakes that Anthony Joshua is making, and he's only making them because he's under pressure. But he hasn't got the fundamentals down rooted like Daniel Dubois. We saw Daniel Dubois get rocked by a punch, and he immediately retreated with a tight guard and kept watching Joshua, which is how he got the knockout. But in comparison, we didn't see Joshua do that. And I wouldn't say it's because Joshua's rubbish, he's a this and that boxer. I would say because Joshua, time-wise, boxing is actually a novice. And this is the truth. He's such a good athlete, such a good natural boxer. He's managed to get to such high heights in such a short space of time without having the time experience to learn different things. Let's say Daniel Dubois now, who's been boxing longer than Joshua, who's had more experience than Joshua through the amateurs. That's the truth. Daniel Dubois is a more experienced boxer. He's had to trained for a fight, and training camp maybe didn't go well, so he learned from it. He's had so many different experiences to learn from things that went well and things that didn't go well, that now when he fights Joshua, he is actually closer to being a more complete version of himself than Joshua is through experiences, because Joshua was just so good. Whether something went wrong or right, he still won. And now he's on a level playing field at an elite level where he's fighting guys that have the same physical abilities as him, but they're a lot more skilled and a lot more experienced. And because of modern day coaching, Joshua hasn't got this skill sides really down, boom. Because when you look at him from his debut to now, skill-wise, he hasn't really actually improved that much. And that can only be, you're talking about an athlete in that type of shape. That's someone who's in the gym 24/7. The only reason why he hasn't got better skill-wise must be because he hasn't been thoroughly, throughout the years, consistently taught how to be a better boxer, not a fitter boxer. And I think this is the reason why when Anthony Joshua was with Rob McCracken, he seemed to do a bit better. Possibly that could be because he was fighting lesser opposition, but also it could be because Rob truly knows who Joshua is. He had him from an early stage. Joshua went to GB very early, so he saw how raw he was, and he knew his flaws, and he knew what to push and what you haven't got to work on as much, and what possibly you have to work on even more. He really understood who he was. But you're getting coaches that get Joshua now, and I'm not talking about Ben Davidson, because Ben Davidson's a great coach and he's had Joshua for such a short period of time where he couldn't make a major impact on Joshua in such a short space of time. But just coaches in general that Joshua's been with before now, they're seeing Joshua as an Olympic gold medalist, 2-time world champion. He's got it down packed. We're going to get super fit and we're going to be everyone. They're not realizing, hold on, you've got all these accomplishments, but you haven't been boxing for that long. Let's do drills. Drills. Over and over again. Drill the basics. And then, trust me, and you're going to see Joshua transform if you do that. And this is why I say there's a problem with modern day coaching, because modern day coaching focuses on the athletic abilities a lot more than it does on the boxing IQ. I know these are some of the greatest boxers that ever lived, but did Mayweather win a single fight just on athletic ability? He could be more athletic than his opponents, but he won on IQ. Mayweather is a very small man. Boxing at welterweight, which isn't the biggest weight class, is still a big weight class for him. How is he beating people that are stronger than him, bigger than him? Because he has the IQ. How did Usyk beat Joshua, Dubois and Fury? And I'm telling you, all three of these guys are bigger and stronger than Usyk because of boxing IQ. He's been boxing for a long time, since a young guy, over 200 amateur bouts, so he has his boxing IQ out there. Now, I'm not saying that every boxer's got no IQ, that's stupid. I'm not saying every coach doesn't teach you boxing IQ, that's again stupid. But I'm saying the majority of coaches, it seems, are not teaching you boxing IQ. And that's why there's such a standout difference between a boxer who's trained by a coach who does teach you IQ and a coach who doesn't. Like another one is Darren Hamilton. Darren Hamilton is a boxing coach now, former British champion. Darren Hamilton, throughout his career, was a highly skilled boxer. He was so skilled that he was feared. Not because of what he'll hurt you, because he was so skilled. He was feared by it. Now, I've sparred Darren Hamilton, I've been in the gym with Darren Hamilton, and I am telling you, this guy is strong and he's fit. But you don't even think about the strength. You don't even hear about the strength because of how good his IQ is. And now he's training boxers, and these guys, I'm seeing the clips on Instagram stories, and I'm like, how long have these guys been boxing for? And they really seem to have very good skills because all he focuses on is IQ, being a better boxer.
Different dimensions, right? 99.9% of fighters, when they fight just go in one dimension. Watch this. Oosh, 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 oosh. But when they move this way, remember, they can't fight going this way because it confuses them. Oh my God, my trainer said don't cross my feet. not realizing that the throwbacks, Sugar Ray Robinson, Jack Johnson, did a lot of crossing over and stepping over. Great fighters, right? That means
when you're doing boxing training and you're going for sprints and you're going for runs, you're gonna get fit. The training shouldn't be based around your fitness. It should be based around your boxing IQ, which is gonna make you even use your fitness even more efficiently. You're gonna be an even more efficient boxer if you have a better IQ. So what's the takeaway from this video? Modern day coaches, and that's me included, we need to really focus on boxing skill. The modern day greats, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez, they're not good they're not great because they're just super fit and strong. They're great because their IQ outweighs all of their opponents. The only way you're gonna be able to get that knowledge to teach it to boxers is if you're in the gym every single day, watching boxing on TV, watching boxing on YouTube, hitting the bag yourself, training yourself, or if you had a long, good career yourself, you're going to know the basics. So we have to get to work as coaches and really learn the art of boxing so you can teach it to your boxers. Now, if you've ever noticed this shift in boxing, then drop a comment below. Let me know, do you think coaches are focusing too much on athleticism more than skill? Or do you think it's the reverse? Or do you think it's something else? Drop a comment below. Let's get the conversation started.